I'm Sarah, and my pronouns are they, them. I feel like it's really been a mixed bag, so it's hard for me to choose one defining experience. It's entirely been based on the people I've happened to work with, and some of those people have been really great and helpful, and others haven't been. All of the therapy is very short-term, and then sort of they send you somewhere else, but the psychiatry is long-term, and I've found a lot of benefit in that. There's definitely a lot of frustration that I've found. Again, just because in my experience and the experience of my friends, it's sort of a roll of the dice of who you end up with. So if you end up with someone who's kind of shitty and not very helpful, that can be really frustrating and upsetting, and that stays in people's minds. I think the biggest thing is just getting more people, more staff, because I just get the sense that they're very, very overbooked right now, and it's sort of always just with scheduling, again, for my psychiatrist, okay, I'll see you within a month, maybe, and then if I have to reschedule, I have no more openings for the next 3 weeks. I wish that there were more resources for something between an emergency and not an emergency. At one point, I went in because I was very close to crisis, and I talked with the person there, and it felt a little bit like, oh, are you having thoughts of suicide or self-harm? No. Okay, you're good. Go see your normal therapist, and everything will be all right. And that was really disappointing and frustrating, because there's definitely a spectrum of crisis, and I feel like they only really serve those edges, and it would be nice if someone's having a really hard day to be able to walk in and see a therapist, or to say, I'm on the verge of crisis, I need something, and for them to recommend an intensive outpatient therapy program, which is what I ended up in the end by going through a lot of other resources. Unreasonable professor attitudes and expectations, sort of the culture of suffering that we've got going on here, I think is really toxic. And just there's sort of this expectation of I will be working super hard to the point where I'm destroying myself, and that's what I need, and if I were to ask my professor for an extension, he would laugh in my face. There's that element, and then there's also, oh yeah, I was in the reg till 3 a.m. last night. You were only in the reg till 11? Please, your life is easy, right? There's definitely a lot of that rhetoric, a lot of that, again, glorified suffering. We would need to be okay, actually, it's not healthy for me to be pushing myself 100% to do everything in my classes first, and it's not healthy for me to be in the reg until 3 a.m. If we could sort of call each other out on those things, and also remind each other that it's okay to take some time for yourself, I think that would be a lot more healthy than the current culture. This exists just generally, therapy, psychiatry, this whole field of thinking about mental health exists, and you deserve to access it.